ett danskt ägg. Det är äggflugorna, men det är äggläggargrenaren. Det är i mitten den där två. Så alltså grena ägg. Det är snack. Så det verkar.
Jag vet inte fan om jag fattade det. I don't think I understand anything. Det där var en försmak av den konversation jag har med Greg Mittenhuber i detta avsnitt. Han är nämligen en komiker som är bosatt i Köpenhamn. Men han kommer ursprungligen från USA, så vi kommer som tur är främst prata engelska. Och i kommande avsnitt kommer jag välja ut ett specifikt ämne som jag konverserar med någon om och anpassa resten av materialet till det. Det har jag inte hunnit göra till idag, men för att ändå anpassa lite grann får det här avsnittet temat Danmark. Och den som vill får gärna stötta mig på Patreon. Adressen är patreon.com/Tobias pratar. Där finns för tillfället 6 inspelade sketcher, 2 specialavsnitt med funderingar som inte ryms i de vanliga avsnitten. Och en inspelning från ett gig jag gjorde i Göteborg för Amnesty. Nu kör vi igång. Om du har så tråkigt att du dör, jag sätt upp på min podd och hör Tobias prata. Jag har stått och stirrat över sundet ofta, men sällan vågat mig över. En kompis har berättat en massa hemskheter om det där landet, så jag tror jag håller mig här. Jag är rädd för Danmark. Det är ett läskigt land. Där äter de fläsk och remoulad. Där slår de alltid på varann. Och nykterister sätts i brand. Där dränks man om man tar ett bad. Och hånas om man är arab. Där skjuts man av en pölseman. Och dras i rep och ströget fram. Om man går omkring och är för vek. Där är det gay med sjukhusvård. Så Ernst-Hugo Järegård var nog något på spåren när han skrek.
Danmark. Utskitet av kalk och vatten.
Jag är rädd för Danmark. Där slår de gammeldansk i huvudet på varenda pensionär. Där knarkas det så mycket att det även säljs till hund och katt. Varenda fru är ilsken där och varje barn har ett gevär. Där får man inte gråta, alla män är överkåta. Och det vänstras kors och tvärs på varje gård. Jag höjer inget ögonbryn om det var en man från Fyn som dödade Ernst-Hugo Järegård.
Dansk jävlar!
Den där låten är naturligtvis gjord med glimten i ögat. Jag gillar Danmark. Och Danmark är en konstitutionell monarki i norra Europa. Det egentliga Danmark gränsar till Tyskland i söder samt maritimt mot Sverige i öster och Norge i norr. Till Danmark hör även Färöarna och Grönland. Varför ska man då åka till Danmark? Ja, för att få svar på den frågan gick jag in på nyhetssajten Flashback och hittade en tråd som heter "Varför reser du till Danmark?" Det är en som skriver "Billig öl, schysst narkotikapolitik, schyssta brudar. Fast nu blir det inte på ett tag då jag ska sluta med drogerna." En annan skriver "Min fru och jag reser ofta till Danmark. Danmark är ett paradis. Man kan prata om vad som helst. Man kan till och med säga boll utan att hamna i fängelset. Danskarna förstår inte ordet boll. Vi reser runt i Danmark där det finns vatten för att kunna bada. Vattnet är kallt men efter några öl känns det varmt." Ja, det är fantastisk poesi det här, måste jag säga. Hur är det då att bo i Danmark? Svaret på den frågan finns också på Flashback. En skriver "Högre lön, billigare mat och sprit. Lättare att fixa knark och prostituerade om man gillar sånt. Smörrebröd, öl och vinerbröd. Dyrare att köpa bil. Danskar hatar svenskar nästan lika mycket som muslimer. Lär dig danska eller säg åtminstone att du är norrman. Chansen finns att de går på det." Ja, då vet jag lite mer om Danmark. Och danskar är ju kända för att vara lite rakare än svenskar med vad de tycker om saker och ting. Så det kan ju passa bra att ta med ett segment som jag körde i förra avsnittet. Det heter "Min inre röst". Och det går ut på att man får höra hur min inre röst kan låta, i och med att jag ofta är så sansad utåt sett. Och under veckan gick jag över ett obevakat övergångsställe. Och jag blev nästan påkörd av en äldre man. Han vevade ner rutan och sa: ursäkta, mina reflexer är inte vad de har varit. Jag svarade: ingen fara, sånt händer den bästa. Men min inre röst sa: varför i helvete kör du bil i så fall? Det kanske kommer en punkt i livet när man borde låta andra sköta den saken. Det finns ju faktiskt något som heter färdtjänst. Och en dag var jag på Willys och blev påsprungen av en jättesnorig unge som hostade. Hans pappa kom fram och sa: ledsen för det här. Jag svarade: ingen fara, vilken söt unge. Men min inre röst sa: han är jätteäcklig. Elaka ögon har han också. Och han går runt och klämmer på tomaterna med sina snoriga fingrar. Varför tog du med honom till en mataffär? Du får väl använda dig av hemleverans av mat. Ja, det var ett par exempel på min inre röst veckan som var. Nu tänkte jag berätta lite kort om en nyhet som kommit i skymundan under coronakrisen. Den 3 maj fyllde en pensionerad shetlandsponny i Umeå 30 år. Ponnyn heter Klicken. Grattis Klicken. Bli gärna Patreon. Nu är det dags för konversation. Och den jag pratar med idag är den väldigt duktiga komikern Greg Mittenhuber. Han är bosatt i Köpenhamn men kommer ursprungligen från USA. Och vi pratar om allt ifrån situationen i Danmark just nu till tv-serien Tiger King. Mycket nöje.
Dags för konversation.
I was born in New York City. My family moved to California when I was a little kid, like 6 years old. Grew up in California, in Orange County in Los Angeles area, and then grew up there and had a family there. But my wife at the time was Icelandic Danish, and she had always wanted to move back to Scandinavia, and I was always like, no, I got a good job, and life is good, And after about 10 years, I kind of saw the direction that the U.S. was going, and I didn't think, I thought that the violence was going to continue to escalate, and that the United States was kind of, in a sense, headed for Hunger Games. And, my ex, she's my ex now, right? My wife at the time said, hey, let's move to Scandinavia, right? Things are much better there. And I had met lots of Scandinavian family in Iceland, Norway, Denmark. And so I thought, sure. She said, you could pick any Nordic country you want, and I'll be good with that. And Iceland's a bit small, bit of island fever there.
Isolated.
Have you been to Iceland?
No, I haven't. I can imagine that it's a great place, but maybe a bit isolated.
Yes, exactly.
It's small, yeah.
It's an amazing volcanic island with it's fire, the land of fire and ice, right? And it really is. It's great. But yeah, it's just a bit small, and I thought, to go there and really, set up camp. But Denmark, and Copenhagen is actually where Icelanders go to get the bigger city, bigger metropolitan life. Icelanders that get island fever, often their number one destination is Copenhagen.
Yeah, okay.
And if you look up Copenhagen online, everybody loves Copenhagen. The world loves Copenhagen. It's one of the top cities that people like to visit. And I thought, well, how could all these tourists be wrong, right? So let's do Copenhagen. And it's also the warmest of the Nordic capitals. So
I like Copenhagen a lot as well. I think it's a great city to visit, actually.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, let's do that. So that just kind of took the leap and brought the kids, and they were 6 and 8 at the time. I have a boy and a girl, and they Danish school. The first year they put them in like this international class to kind of start teaching them Danish, this and that. But they were really bored that first year, and they complained that they weren't learning anything. So we decided to just throw them into the deep end of the pool, just put them in the Danish class, and then let them handle it. And it took about 6 months. There was a lot of crying there, but after 6 months, the kids got it, and they've been going good ever since. So, yeah, it's great. A lot of people think that my daughter, she's 11 now. You can't tell that she's not Danish. She has a good accent. But my son still has a bit of an American accent, so you can kind of tell.
I think it's great to learn Danish. It seems to be a difficult language.
It is. I think, honestly, in retrospect, looking at Norwegian would have been a lot easier, and
Yeah.
and the cool thing is I actually understand Norwegian now that I understand Danish. So it's kind of cool that way too. At first, like I was on a job interview and there was a Norwegian lady interviewing me, and I thought she was speaking Danish, and I go, well, you have a very interesting accent. Where are you from? She's like, oh, I'm from Norway. Oh, I go, you speak Danish? It's really interesting. And she's all, no, that was Norwegian. I'm like, okay, I understand Norwegian. This is great.
Do you speak Danish as well?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm fluent in Danish, but I'm no longer funny in Danish, and that's an accomplishment.
You have done stand-up in Danish.
I did a little bit, just kind of memorization a while ago, but I definitely wanted to break back into that this year and really see if I could get 5-10 minutes of Danish, and I think I'm capable of that. And that kind of is one of my goals for 2020. But of course, this whole Corona thing definitely slows things down a bit. But I would like to put up a good 10 in Danish this year. Yes, that's a goal of mine, for sure. Yeah.
But did you do stand-up when you lived in the United States as well? Or,
A little bit. A friend had just got me in right before I moved to Denmark. So
okay.
Yeah, he took a class and he wanted to get into stand-up, and he needed a show buddy, and he's like, you know what, you'd be good and this and that. And I'm like, and I was like, oh, stand-up, it's not really my thing. And he gave me his textbook from his class that he was taking, and he said, read the book, maybe you'll be interested. And sure enough, I read the book, and I just read the first half of the book, and I was like, oh my God, this sounds amazing. I have to try it. And then I started performing, and that feeling when you like to perform and you enjoy doing that, you enjoy getting up there and making people laugh and trying to be really good at it. And so I was hooked, and I have a feeling I'll probably always be hooked. So who knows? We'll see. But I do enjoy it very much. I mean, you're happy to do it for free, right? It's nice to get paid, but would you do it for free? Of course you would, right?
Absolutely. I think the laughter is a payment itself.
It is.
It is like an addict. I feel that I am kind of a drug addict, but for laughter.
No. I've heard that analogy many times before, but from other comedians, and thought about it. Yeah, it's like cocaine, right? We're just
it is.
Next fix, and you always feel great. When you have a good show, you feel great, right? It lasts for hours, sometimes days, and But here's the funny thing: like if you have 2 shows in one day, and you do good in the first show, and then you suck in the second show, you feel like crap later on, right? It just takes all of the goodness away. But But if you have a bad show and then you have a good show, then that good feeling still lasts for the next few days, and then you're good. So it sucks to suck. Yeah, to have a bad show, it makes you feel like crap, right? It has like
absolutely. And if you do 40 minutes of stand-up and one joke doesn't work, that joke is all that you'll be thinking of.
Yes, we do. We're highly self-critical, right?
Speaking of stand-up, how is the situation in Denmark right now? I know that in Stockholm there are at least one club that is running right now.
Mm-hmm.
But, do you have any comedy clubs?
No. Everything's closed.
Everything is closed in Denmark. Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They shut that down. It's illegal to have a grouping of more than 10 people.
Oh, it is. Yeah, it's difficult to do stand-up for 7-8 people. I think.
Yes. Oh no. So there's been a few shows that people have kind of thrown together. Some backyard shows. Outdoors for like apartments and stuff. People that are really eager to do shows just kind of kept pushing and try to do some outdoor stuff, that's within the guidelines. But I mean, this quarantine basically shut down the entire community or comedy world in Copenhagen and in the whole country.
Yeah.
And you'll be, and even if you're trying to kind of put something together, I think it's kind of frowned upon, really, that, that you're kind of trying to get by the rules or whatever. It's like, look, everybody, you do the quarantine because it's the best thing to do for.
Precisely. Many people think that it's irresponsible and
Yes.
and selfish. Actually,
Exactly. And, and this is where, at this time, I mean, I know it's a lot of people are, financial, it's not going well for a lot of people, and that sucks. And it sometimes brings the worst of us out. But now is the time that people show their humanity, right? When you do have to sacrifice for the greater good. How are you handling that?
Yeah. What do you think about the way Sweden is handling this?
Well, it's really hard to say. I think it's too soon to tell what the right approach will be. If you look by the numbers right now, if we first of all, we have to just establish: do we trust the numbers that are being published on the Bing COVID-19 world map, right? At least from Denmark and Sweden. Let's just go with those numbers, right? And right now, Sweden's got 16,000 cases with 2,000 deaths, and Denmark has half the amount of active cases, 8,000 cases, and less than 400 deaths.
Yeah.
And with similar populations. So technically, Denmark is doing a lot better, but that's, of course, driven itself into the ground financially as well. So
yeah. How do you feel about this? The theory that you have to build a crowd immunity.
Herd immunity. Yeah. I mean that will, I think, protect you in some way. And this is interesting, actually. You bring up the herd immunity thing, and because Denmark did ask us to send our kids back to school this week, and my daughter, and now they only asked the younger kids up till 5th grade, not the older kids. The older kids have a different schedule, and I don't think they go back to school for another few weeks. I think they're supposed to go back to school in May. Okay. But for my daughter, they wanted her to go back, and I guess there's 5 other kids in her class that are not going back. I talked with the ex, and we agreed that we're going to keep her home and let the rest of the country send their kids to school as guinea pigs and see what happens, and reevaluate on a weekly basis. But technically, well, and also, I have asthma, and so I really don't want to get this thing. And if you send your kid to class, they're going to get it. They're going to get exposed to it. I mean,
absolutely.
It's unavoidable. This one is so sticky. You look at the world map, every place where there are humans on this planet, this virus has hit, right? Even on these tiny little islands in the middle of the Indian Ocean, right? Mauritius, these guys, the people eat turtle soup, right? They don't get out much, but dude, they're dying of this. Yeah. It's so prevalent, right? There's Amazon tribes that have never seen white people that are dying of the flu. It's crazy. Yeah. So,
it's extremely contagious, I think.
Extremely contagious, right? And so I know for a fact that if I send my daughter to school, she's gonna be exposed. And so because I'm kind of higher risk, I'd like the kids to build up some herd immunity first before I send my daughter in there. And even when I do send my daughter to school, I'm sticking her with the ex for 2 weeks so that if she is exposed, hopefully she gets over the contagious phase before she comes back to me. So when we do send her back to school, I'm not going to see my daughter for 2 weeks. That's the plan. Okay. Yeah, that's the home improvised plan. And it's just because I have asthma, and I mean, it's under control and everything, but the numbers scare me. And look at
you don't want to take any risk with this, I think.
Yeah, not really. And the weird thing for me is that I've kind of accepted my own mortality as a human, and everyone has their time, and I'm not that afraid of dying, but I am afraid of leaving my kids alone in this world without me. My job is not done. They're 11 and 13, and I have a lot of things to teach them, which I haven't done. And until that job is done, I'm kind of scared for my kids to not have a dad. So I'm protecting that position in a sense. I know it sounds weird, but I really do feel that way.
I don't think it sounds weird at all. I understand you completely, actually.
Yeah.
Are there any bars open, or everything is closed
Everything's closed. No drink. There now. Interesting thing about mild drinking can actually enhance your immune system.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Because it keeps awake parts of your brain that are responsible for the immune response. So it actually, but the thing is that the way Danes drink, when you drink too much, then your immune response actually goes down. So there's a kind of, it's more like moderate drinking. So I'm not sure that Denmark is that well equipped, right? If you let them drink, Denmark is very behaved during the week. It's hard to get Danes to drink with you more than a beer during the week. On the weekend, they just go off, right?
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, that whole lifestyle has kind of been curtailed with this thing, right? No bars are open. I do know that some bars are selling alcohol to go. They sell beer to go to try to keep the business up. I've seen that. How are you guys doing? Is everything just open, business as usual? What are the limitations there?
There are some limitations, but I think instead of 10 people, our limit is 50 people.
Okay.
And the restaurants are open and bars as well. So you can say that there are restrictions, but not as many as you have in Denmark, I think.
So I mean, you could do a comedy show with less than 50 people, right?
You could do that, but many people who arrange stand-up and host the clubs, they have decided not to run their clubs right now. Actually, what's your impression of the Swedish people?
Well, I would say, in the culture, it's similar to Danish culture. I would say it's quiet and reserved. It's just, I think there's a higher premium on being like a boy, being good. Like Danes, I think they're like, it's like, hey, we'll follow the rules, right? But I think they break them more in private, and it's a little more loose, and they realize that there's kind of good and evil in everyone, and you need to indulge a little bit I would say, Denmark is very pro-indulgence. Be good, indulge yourself as much as you need to, and hopefully that dichotomy will work for you. Where in Sweden, I think there's probably much of an expectation on being good all the time.
Yeah, maybe you're right about this, actually. Because here in Sweden, when we think of Danish people, we think that they are a bit more rough, or what you say. My impression is that Swedes are a bit more wanna be nice than Danish people.
So I would say disciplined.
With what you say, actually.
If I could use one word, I'd say disciplined. I think Swedes are a little bit more disciplined.
Discipline. That's a good word, actually.
Yeah.
Speaking of something totally different, you wrote something about the Tiger King impression. What was?
Oh yeah. No, well, and that's the thing. Well, because Tiger King is such everybody's. I tried to get away from the show. Like I stayed away from it because I had heard about it, and I'm like, oh, do I really want it? Do I have to get into that show? Everybody's talking about it, and I'm like, and I waited and I waited for it to just go away, but it wouldn't go away. Everybody keeps talking about it, and I think as a comedian, you almost have a responsibility to watch what's popular. I mean, if this is going to be a subject that we're going to talk about for now and possibly years to come, then we have to become knowledgeable about it. And of course, as I'm watching this thing, it just gets worse and worse and worse. I'm like, I can't believe how bad it is. But it's just a thing. Like, you have to, you have to learn about stuff just to be able to relate to other people. Sometimes if everybody's talking about Tiger King, you got to get into Tiger King. And God, I watched that show and it's just like, oh my God, each one is worse than the next. It just gets, you're introduced to these characters and you think, oh, okay, there's the good guy, there's the not so good guy. And then by the end, they're all so bad. You see the different flavors of evil.
Absolutely, I agree. I have seen that show myself, actually.
And what do you think?
I thought it was horrible in so many ways, but it was kind of interesting as well. to see these people and to realize that these people live on this planet as well. It was beyond what I had thought, actually.
Yes, exactly. The level of the depth of I'm just going to say evil that people will stoop to, the level of selfishness and greed exceeded all of your expectations, right?
Yeah, I became hooked on that show. I couldn't stop watching, actually.
Yes, exactly. That's what I mean. You get sucked in. You're like, oh my God, how bad can it get? And I think, well, I've always kind of heard that, the reality TV, I mean, this is more of a documentary, but reality TV, they try to show people that it makes you feel good about yourself because at least you're not as bad as these people, right? They just show people who are a train wreck and just let the cameras roll, and you don't need to have a script or lines because these people are just so bad that it just comes across no matter what happens, right? You can, they work the editing and stuff, but yeah, on this one, I mean, I think it's about power. The big cats gave these ordinary people so much power because they are so impressive and they attract people's attention so much, right? It elevates their status. I mean, these people are keeping off tigers, right? Tigers can eat people, right? They can kill people, and yet here they are, masters of tigers, right? They're like gods.
Yeah, I think somehow they get turned on by this.
Well, I mean, look at Tiger Cat. I mean, he's an old, kind of, I'm just gonna say, trailer park kind of dude, not the most attractive guy, but right, but he's managing this tiger park, and he's actually talking. I mean, young, 20-something men into marrying him just so that they can hang out with him on the tiger park. I mean, and what his first two husbands weren't even gay.
No, I saw that as well.
Tigers are so alluring. Tigers have so much attraction and status in them that they will actually con heterosexual men into crossing the line with a trailer park dude, right? Who's just out of his mind, just to get close to those tigers.
Yeah.
It's insane, but it just shows the amount of power and status that comes along with those tigers. I mean, you look at it and say, hey, why the fuck don't I have a tiger? Would that might make my life better?
Do you think she killed her husband?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do as well.
That Carol Baskin, she sure did kill her husband. I'm gonna find out exactly how. Then I'm gonna hire some guys, gonna kill her, and then all this tiger stuff, I'll be the king, and there won't be no competition, and everything's gonna work out just fine. Yeah, it's insane.
That's a nice impression, actually.
Was that good? Yeah, I just started, I'm on like episode 6 or whatever, something. I'm like, Jesus. But, I am American, and of course I've heard Southerners and stuff, so it's in there somewhere. I think with impressions, it has to be inside your head somewhere. And when you do try to do an impression, it's kind of personal. You're letting that person kind of into your consciousness forever. And with Tiger King, I wasn't really sure whether I wanted to imitate him because he's not exactly a role model.
You don't think he's a role model? No, I agree.
I know, exactly, right? Like, he is not someone you want to let into your head. And I try not to do impressions of people that I don't respect. Carol Baskin, I mean, she actually cares. I do believe that woman actually loves animals, and that's part of the reason that she's in it. Yeah, she did. She's got tons of money now, and she is.
But she's kind of full of herself as well, I think.
She's also full of herself. She loves the attention, but she's a cat lover, though. I don't think you would see.
Maybe she loves cats, and that's the big difference between her and Joe.
Yes, and also let's look at Doc. So the cult leader fellow, we don't see much of him. Doc Adler, what is his name? I mean, and this just shows the power of those tigers. He calls himself like Bhagawan, right? Friend of God or whatever. Like he's elevated himself above human status to this kind of demigod kind of status.
Yeah.
Because he's a friggin' tiger handler, and because he enables these encounters with tigers. That's how much power these big cats have over people. And all of these people have learned to exploit this in different ways.
This has been really interesting and funny. But maybe it's time to end this. It sounds so it didn't sound so nice.
Yeah, hey, come on, you're from Sweden. You should be able to do this what is the most PC way to say, hey Greg, shut the fuck up. We're done, dude.
Tack Greg. Det är skönt att du är så talför när jag själv inte är det. Särskilt inte på engelska. Nu tänkte jag faktiskt köra saker som har ett dåligt rykte men som kanske kan användas till något positivt. Sak nummer 1. Spelmissbruk. Om man sitter på en arbetsintervju och ska berätta om någon positiv egenskap, då är det kanske inte så lämpligt att säga jag sitter fast i ett spelberoende. Men det här kanske kan användas i något positivt också. Om jorden invaderas av rymdvarelser som gör att man blir förstenad om man tittar på dem, då kan man använda sig av sitt spelmissbruk och bara stirra in i en Jack Vegas-maskin. Sak nummer 2. Tinnitus. Om man minns tillbaka på livet och försöker hitta den absoluta höjdpunkten, då är det nog få som väljer den tidpunkt när de fick tinnitus. Men även det kan kanske användas till något positivt. Om man vet vilken ton som ständigt spelas i öronen, då kan man använda sig av den för att stämma sin gitarr. Man kanske rent av kan starta en business där man stämmer andras gitarrer också. Och slutligen, amputering av ett ben. Det här är en utmaning. För om man ser en stjärna falla och önskar sig något, då är det nog få som önskar sig att amputera ett ben. Men om man hamnar mitt i en skottlossning där det är barn som skjuter, då går ju skotten lågt och man kan dra fördel av att man bara har ett ben. Det blir helt enkelt svårare att träffa. Och det här var alltså saker som har ett dåligt rykte men som kanske kan användas till något positivt. Och det var allt för detta avsnitt. Stort tack för att ni lyssnade och vi hörs igen torsdag om en vecka. Allt gott! Om du har så tråkigt att du dör, jag sett upp på min podd och hör via